I am Daniel Madison. Why did the chicken cross the road? What? Welcome back. Thanks for being here. Do appreciate you choosing to spend a little bit of time with me today. Now it's not an important video. It's an important message, I believe. Before I get into the subject of this video, I need to explain what led me to make this video in the first place. The subject of this video is crediting, acknowledging accordingly, correctly in magic, in the world of magic, in the deceptive practices. Now, I believe that this is an important message, and I want to use it divisively and give all the magicians and any magicians watching this, specifically magicians who are on YouTube, see this as an opportunity to share your thoughts, to share where you stand and what your beliefs are on this subject, the subject of crediting and acknowledging when it comes to creating and sharing magic. Let's start with YouTube itself. YouTube is a wonderful place. It's a beautiful place, especially for sharing, for learning, for magic. Now, there are a lot of magicians on YouTube constantly performing, constantly sharing so many tutorials and lessons. And magic, I guess, like any industry or any creative place of passion, it comes with heavy problems, and there's a lot of them, and magicians like to kick off. Now, usually it comes from a place of passion, but there's a lot of aggressive and insecure magicians out there who seem to love to start lighting fires everywhere whenever they can, and it's quite easy to upset magicians. Now, we have to ask ourselves, are these people who are upsetting the magicians who are kicking off, are they doing the right thing? Each single case is a case unto itself. Everyone has to be looked at separately, but I'm trying to look at the bigger picture, and as somebody who's leaning into that direction, going into that direction of sharing more and more and teaching more and more on YouTube, using YouTube as a platform for teaching and sharing magic and the progression and the advancement of magic as an art form, as somebody who's doing that already but also planning to do it more and more. That's what led me to write what's in front of me, that what I'm going to read out, which once I finished writing it, I said to myself, Daniel Madison, you need to share this message with everybody on film, especially the magicians of YouTube, not just the creators and the magicians who have channels and do the sharing, but also the magicians who are watching and coming to YouTube to learn. So the problems with magic, the two main problems, it's usually one of two things. One, exposing magic, which kind of bleeds into the second thing. Second thing is crediting, acknowledging, standing on other people's toes. The whole problem with acknowledging and crediting, or the biggest problem, is we all want everything here. We all want it now. We all want it instantly. We want it yesterday. When it comes to learning, like magicians can go to a magic shop. You can go to a magic shop, buy a trick deck of playing cards. You can learn how to perform that trick in a matter of minutes. That night, you could get a booking at a wedding, go and show people that trick, and they will believe that you are a genuine magician because you can perform that trick. This is a huge problem for magic, for the art of magic, for the development and the advancement of magic as an art. And YouTube, we can't blame YouTube, we have to blame the people on there. YouTube is facilitating, even that sounds like a dirty word because YouTube is a beautiful place, but the magicians or the people who I'm trying to address and who we will talk about, that are using YouTube as a facility to do the same thing as a magic shop. back some 10-15 years ago, the whole idea that I can go to a magic shop, know nothing about magic, buy an invisible deck, and then go do a booking later that night. It's happening on YouTube in a very different way. You can grab a deck of playing cards and know very, very little about magic, and after spending half a day on YouTube, you can learn a bunch of self-working tricks and then show them to somebody, and that person would believe that you are a qualified, genuine magician. Now, I'm kind of bleeding away from the point a little bit by saying that, but in saying that, I'm kind of getting to the point. We all want it instantly, so we're not willing to put in the time. We're not willing to read the books and study and learn. Most magicians who I've become aware of throughout my career, the older generation of magicians, they would practice a trick for 20 years before ever showing it. And it's the same with sleight of hand. There are some sleight of hand techniques that I've worked on for years and years before I've ever shown them, including the broken bridge shuffle that's on my YouTube channel. People who know me personally will tell you that I've been doing that almost my entire career, but I only felt comfortable enough to share it last year. It's almost 20 years practice. That's the art of it. That's the art of sleight of hand and the practice of something that beautifully intricate, that deserves that kind of attention, that kind of detail. Again, I'm kind of walking away from the main subject. So let me try and get to it. So more recently, especially this year, 2019, I'm looking around and seeing magicians doing really well on YouTube, and a lot of magicians don't like that. There are so many different reasons that we're not going to get into on this video that I'm not going to address, but I'm sure your mind can kind of work out what's going on. So we look around at those magicians, and I watch so many magicians, and I'm a fan of almost every one of them. And recently there's been a lot of negativity and a lot of problems, a lot of trouble, because of crediting, because of acknowledgements, because of stepping on toes. There's this whole idea of, we try to find ourselves somewhere between standing on the shoulders of giants or stepping on somebody's toes. Now, it's the companies mainly, it's usually the companies or the bigger businesses that pose as the giants. They pose as the giants, but really they're stepping on people's toes. There's a lot of people who say that they're standing on the shoulders of giants, and it's kind of used in almost like as an excuse. I'm not sure if that will make sense. And then when we step on people's toes, is the idea of it's better to ask for forgiveness than permission, which I guess that works every now and again, but it's not the right way forward, I don't believe. Anyway, what I'm going to do, I'm going to read out this thing that I wrote. I'm going to read it out. In every magic publication, in everything that I've ever released or published for the magic world, for the deceptive practices, I always start with the same thing, and I don't like calling it a disclaimer, which is what it is, but whenever there needs to be a disclaimer, it always feels like a justification or an excuse, or it always feels dirty. I don't like the word, and I don't like the fact that we have to do it, but in this art we have to do that. We have to make sure that we are standing on the shoulders of giants correctly, and thankfully and gratefully, and also with arms wide open, as opposed to stepping on people's toes. Now, I've been publishing and working in the magic industry and contributing to the world of magic for 20 years. I know I look young. I look like a spring chicken, and there is a chicken in this story, by the way. But I'm an old man. So for the 20-year career that I've been publishing, I've learned so much over that time about crediting, and I've seen it constantly over and over and over where it's gone wrong or it's been done incorrectly. And there's so many books on this subject and so many publications that it is sometimes impossible and difficult to credit accordingly and acknowledge and give thanks appropriately, you know. But the right path always finds itself. I've experienced this many times where I've published something and somebody will come to me and say, oh, Madison, that's already been done in this book. I will remove that publication accordingly. It's the right thing to do. Before I publish anything ever, I have a few people who I'm close with, who I always share my discoveries and my creations with before publishing, to make sure that I'm not standing on anybody's toes. I've only ever published about maybe 10% of what I've actually discovered and what I've actually worked on. There's 90% of the things I perform and the things I do and the things I've discovered that the world will never see. That's not to stop me from performing those things. I still perform those things, but in terms of my discovery of it and my development of it, it had to change. So that kind of points out a huge thing as well for anybody trying to get into magic and publishing magic and getting in the world of offering and contributing to the magic that are deceptive practices. It's difficult. It's difficult, and as time goes by, more and more you hear people saying that everything in magic, everything possible with a deck of playing cards has been discovered. And although I agree with that in up to a certain point, I don't think we'll ever discover everything possible with deck of playing cards. I'm constantly shocked by newcomers, by old people, by people who've been in this industry, in this business for so long, in this art, should I say. I shouldn't have said industry or business. In this art, I'm constantly seeing new things and discovering new things. We have yet to scratch the surface of what's possible. That's why I believe. In the same sentence, I do like to think that, or I did used to say constantly, there's nothing new under the sun, but I'm changing my mind on that, especially when I see people like, I don't want to name names ever, but I won't name names, but there are a certain few young people turning up who are showing me new things with playing cards that blow my mind. I want to get to the point. I'm going to read this. So I'm getting more and more into the idea of sharing and teaching and advancing the world of magic as an art form, and I'm using YouTube to do it, and I hope to lead by example and do it correctly, do it accurately, and do it in a way where if I ever am in that area, in this grey area that we're discussing right now, if I ever am in that, I will be standing on the shoulders of giants and not stepping on anybody's toes. We have to approach it correctly, and I hope me leading by example will inspire and encourage people to think the same way when it comes to crediting. Because when you decide to share or teach something you've discovered in the magic world, when you decide to do that on YouTube, you have a responsibility to make sure that you're not standing on anybody's toes, and that you are acknowledging the original creators and the people who have already contributed. And it's not to say that you can't do it, but at least acknowledge credit and find out if the original creator or the people who were involved from the beginning are happy with you to add your ideas and add your theory, philosophy, sleight of hand, add your developments to what already exists, which I think we are really doing as magicians now. I think we're just contributing our developments rather than bringing anything new, and I think that's a big problem that's hit the magic industry pretty hard. It's getting harder and harder for them to release things, because for a few different reasons. One, people think almost everything has been discovered, and it's much more difficult now to put something new out. It's much more difficult. But also people are getting wise to it. The artists, the creators, especially the new younger people coming in, they're getting wise to it, that we don't need those middlemen, so we can take our time and we can do it properly. At least I hope that's what's happening, and at least I hope that's the way forward. So with that in mind, with me wanting to go forward and share more on YouTube, I found myself going back to that disclaimer that I always used to put in all my publications. And I was going to recite it, but instead of that, I'm going to read out word for word what I've written. And the reason I've written this is in preparation for the things I'm going to share. And this is going to go in the video description of all the things I share. Not even on cases where it doesn't have to. It kind of has to be there, and I hope it's a way of me leading by example. So it's in this video description. It's the first place you'll see it, in this video. So I'm going to switch the camera angle, move you closer, and I'm going to read it out word for word. And this might be interesting for people in the same position like me, same position as I am, who offer and share and teach what they know with playing cards on YouTube. By the way, I talk a lot. I hope you're a good listener. So I'm going to read this word for word. As always, I never claim to be the original inventor or creator of my magic, deceptive methods, or sleight of hand techniques. I only ever claim to have discovered and developed my magic and performances in isolation, in an unorthodox manner, away from magic and magicians. This is a conscious decision made long ago in an attempt to always create, discover, and develop original ideas that have not been swayed, misguided, or inadvertently influenced by other artists and creators. Any likenesses or similarities with the work or creations of other magicians, creators, or artists are purely coincidental. I believe that there is nothing new under the sun. I'm changing my mind on that bit. When like-minded artists with similar ambitions attempt to achieve all of the wonderful and amazing things that are possible with a deck of cards, obviously similarities will occur, and similar problem-solving individuals will inevitably reach the same conclusions and arrive at the same destinations. It then becomes a matter of who came first. The chicken. It was the chicken. Told you there was a chicken in the story. Before sharing or publishing my creations and discoveries, I always call upon a few close people who help me research, so that if any similarities ever do occur, I can correctly acknowledge, credit, or remove where appropriate. Should my work, creations, or publications share any likenesses that are not acknowledged or credited correctly, there is usually a justified reason. However, I do aim to credit and acknowledge correctly and accordingly, so please let me know if you believe that I have missed or not acknowledged when and where I should have. I'm always learning, and in my plight to advance the practice and performance of magic as an art, I will always do the right thing and offer thanks, credit, and acknowledgement when and where appropriate. And in some cases, publications and things that have been shared and teachings have to be removed. I've experienced that a few times working for the company that I used to work for, where you get to a point where you checked for crediting and it's all okay, it all seems okay, so you go into production and then you publish, and then 2 minutes after it's released to the world, everybody comes out of nowhere and they're like, this has been done, you have to remove it, shame on you, you know. And then you start questioning like the whole research method, which is a very difficult thing, but there are people out there, and that's one thing that I want to talk about in this video too. But in the times when that's happened, whenever I've been involved, when it's appropriate, those things have been removed. I did this thing, I can't even remember what it was called, but it involved the Two of Hearts, a trick that I filmed in Brooklyn some time ago. I don't like naming people, so I won't, but when that was put out, everybody came and says, oh, it's been done before, so we took it straight down. And obviously that's the right thing to do, and I would like to hope that all magicians and all creators who are contributing to the deceptive practices would do this same thing, but that's not always the case, unfortunately. So let me move camera angle. Let me get my mind straight first, and we'll come back to this. Now, I'm not saying I'm right. I'm not saying that anything that I've written, anything that I've said, and my thoughts on crediting and acknowledging, I'm not saying that I'm right. I'm saying this is my approach to it, and this is the way that I create. I don't consider myself, and I never have considered myself, a magician. I never have. Like, I do my best to not spend time with magicians. I stay away from the magic industry. I stay away from magicians. I don't consider myself to be one of them. I consider myself an artist who just so happens to be able to do these things, and I am digitally fixated, fascinated with playing cards and deceptive practices with playing cards. That's my life. But I've never felt comfortable with the word magician. I've never liked using it. I didn't really enjoy my time in the magic industry. I do consider myself an artist. Let me get to the point. When I create flourishing, for example, cardistry. When I was learning cardistry, back when I did this DVD called Lethal, many moons ago, Lethal, which then became Dangerous, which was published at Theory 11, the cardistry in that, back in those days, there were very few people doing cardistry, very few. I was one of the first of that small crowd. I was there, and all the cardistry moves that everybody was doing that I was seeing, specifically Dan and Dave, I avoided Dan and Dave. I avoided them to great levels. You know, I was disrespectful. I didn't want to be near them. I didn't want to spend time with them because I didn't want my cardistry and my flourishes and my moves to be inadvertently influenced by theirs. I didn't want to see them doing something beautiful and me go, oh my god, how did you do that? Show me how you did that. Because then if I incorporate that into my work ends up looking like theirs too, and I didn't want that. I wanted to avoid that at all costs. In fact, when all cardistry moves started looking the same, that's when I got out of there. Like, it was no longer an original thing. But that idea and that approach to practice and creation, I apply that to everything that I do. Like, magic is such a beautiful and wonderful thing. What an amazing thing to be able to practice and learn and do and perform. What an incredible thing when you stop and think about it. So when I was learning and when I was turning my sleight of hand into magic, using it for magic instead of the wrong things, when I started doing that, I avoided magicians for the same reasons. I didn't want to be influenced by anybody else's tricks. I was inspired by David Blaine when I saw him. Of course, you're inspired by the people that you see. But then when you get into the industry, and when you get into the world of magic and magicians, you see that there's so many similarities and so many. You can tell which people have been influenced by which people by just looking at them perform, listen to words they use, and listen to how they present what they do and how they present themselves. You can tell who they're inspired by just by looking at them. I found myself in my earlier days, when I was new to the magic world, being inspired by a few people and seeing and learning and seeing people create and offer their creations to the rest of the world and the rest of the magic industry. And I thought, well, that's how you do it. It's called lecture notes. So that's what I'll do. And ideas and things like that are wrong, but it's a whole learning curve. And this learning curve is like all over the place. It's long, it's winding, it's lined the entire way with swear words. So that's kind of my unique approach, and I'm very aware of how much of an excuse it might sound like. It might sound like a get out of jail free card. It might sound like that, but it isn't. I like purity in my work. I want my work and my performance and my presentations, the way that I handle cards, everything about what I do, I want it to be original and belong to me. And unfortunately, we all have not all of us, we have 4 fingers on each hand and a thumb. The playing cards are all the same size and there's the same amount of cards in the deck. There's 53 cards in this deck, but you get the idea. So you start to understand how there's nothing new under the sun, and how eventually, inevitably, everything that can be done with a deck of playing cards will have been done. So the fight to stay original and be original and not look like somebody else is difficult. So when you do that, when you try to avoid looking like other people and doing the same things that other people are doing, the tragedy of that is you end up in the same destination anyway, because you're faced with the same problems as any magician, anybody who picks up a deck of playing cards and wants to create magic. You have the same challenges. I don't like the word problems. You have the same challenges, so you inevitably arrive at the same destinations. We all know this. Everybody watching knows what I'm talking about. It's repetitive, it's boring. The point I'm trying to get to is, if you know that you've stepped on somebody's toes, if you have copied somebody or published somebody else's work, do the right thing. It's not difficult. It's not difficult to apologize, to remove that publication, to make the original creator happy. If you have their blessing to offer your developments and your ideas on their creation, then that's golden, that's good. You're helping, you're contributing to the industry and the performance and the creation and the development of magic in a very positive and respectful way. But if you publish something that somebody else has done and you don't give a flying swear word about doing the right thing, or keeping the peace, or just doing what's right, just doing the right thing, it's all logic at the end of the day. It's all logic. And even now, way into my career, way into it, I'm trying to clean up. I've made mistakes that I'm even discovering to this day. And when I say mistakes, these are all legitimate, unintentional. And the way forward, especially for people in the industry, the way forward is to find the experts, find the people who know everything, or the people who have access. These people, they're not going to be mad when you go to them for help and advice. All you have to do is ask. Find the right people, seek them out, seek the experts out, and ask them. Ask them if they know. They might say, yeah, I know, but it'll cost you this much. It'll be worth it. In most cases, the people you reach out to and ask, they will help you, because you did the right thing by asking in the first place. This is a long video, so I'm going to end it here. There's so much more I want to say on the subject, but I want to leave it open, and I want to kind of let this message give you a place to respond. So use the comment section and let me know where you stand on it, and don't just let me know. Use the comment section in this video to let everyone else know where you stand on it and what you feel. I hope to lead by example, because I'm about to do it, and I'm taking the necessary steps and the research and the precautions. And even before I start sharing in the way that I want to and the way that I will, I'm making sure right now that I'm not going to be standing on anybody's toes. So I'm doing the right thing before I even begin. And hopefully, I can find a way to stand on the shoulders of giants with their approval, with their acceptance, with their arms wide open, saying, please, please, please. All I want to do really, personally, is contribute in a positive way and help advance the development of magic as an art. Magic is an art form. Sometimes it's ugly, sometimes it's disgusting, sometimes it's horrible, most times it is. But every now and again it's beautiful. You gotta learn how to see it. And the way, unfortunately, the only way I know how to see it is by being away from it. Or when I say it, by being away from the industry, which is the ugly side of it, And I carry a huge shame on my shoulders for the role that I've played in the industry, but thankfully I'm clean. I'm out of it now. I'm not clean. I'm trying to clean up. So, and this wasn't a difficult video to make. I was going to say that, but it wasn't. It's just logic, really. Logic led me here and doing the right thing. So hopefully I can lead by example. I'll stop repeating myself. I'm Daniel Madison. Told you there'd be a chicken in the story. I'll see you next time.